Hi there. This is the Wisdom and Thy Youth audio show, an interfaith space for the rising generation and the young at heart who believe in God and in Jesus Christ. I am Lori Beard, your host. As a mother of 8 children, life coach, and youth enthusiast, I trust the rising generation's potential for greatness. We have a wonderful young woman here today, and her name is Mary. Hello, Mary. How are you?
Hello, I'm doing okay.
I am happy you said yes for this interview. What would you like them to know about your feelings in terms of wisdom and being a believer in this day where there's so much darkness and so many voices and noises? What would you like your peers to know?
Well, I have two things. The first thing is just like a thought is whenever the sun sets and a restless night is what you're dealing with, simply ask yourself, you know, how am I? Like, how should I spend my time? Like, should I go to the park tomorrow? Like, doing something peaceful is what I'm aiming at. And the other thing is, so you know that tale where Socrates goes to Delphi and he meets the oracle, and the oracle says to him that he's the smartest man. And that is only because he is the smartest man because he knows that he doesn't know everything. And I think that that is something that people um should take note of because, having a big ego is also something that is really prevalent in social media, or at least that I see a lot in social media. So I think it is important to know that, as humans, we can't know everything, but at the same time, learn as much as you can so that wisdom can come to you as well. And a part of that wisdom is, of course, knowing that you don't know everything in that sense.
Is it because it's okay to not know? And it doesn't mean that you are going to be perceived as a fool, because in learning is the opposite. In learning and having that curiosity to learn from others, we're okay. It's okay. There's some wisdom there, wanting to be teachable and acting like a clean canvas. What do you think, Mary?
Yes, I think that's very important because it's okay to, not know everything, but, people, especially myself, don't like to hear that. I do remember when I changed schools and, it was really hard for me to accept that, I can't always be right because I was moving to a more challenging school for my education. And I was a bit frustrated that, I couldn't get everything right, even though I was doing well. But I can't be perfect. Like, I mean, no one is really, but a problem, and actually I've seen this in like other parts of the world like China and South Korea, where so in China, I don't exactly know what it's called, but essentially, like, I think it's around the end of high school. All high school students have a test that they have to take, and basically, that test is their sole decider if they will succeed or fail in life. And it doesn't matter what their previous grades were, it all depends on that final test. And like, there's this whole like thing about it, and like the parents and grandparents are in on it. The same thing is applied in South Korea, where grades are very important, and like students, they like there's an option to stay at school for as long as like 10 p.m. In my chemistry class, where people were afraid to raise up their hand and ask a question in fear of just like, like, oh my gosh, like everyone is looking at me, like, oh my gosh, everyone is like, gonna judge me because I got this wrong. But in reality, like, no one is going to like judge you for getting something wrong. And if someone is judging you for that, then they have their own issues and that's on them. But there's just this thing in the world that I've seen about that people don't like being wrong, but being wrong is the thing that can get you further.
This is profound, Mary. I appreciate you sharing this. Is it usually just being wrong or not knowing something? And that's why we go to school. We go through the school in the academic sense, and we go through this school of life, is what I call it, because sometimes new experiences bring us new perspectives, new knowledge, and new wisdom. So, has there been times where you feel like that? You already shared when you changed schools. So how is that going? Are you getting more used to like not knowing, raising your hand when you feel like you have a question, or is there another experience that you can share where you haven't known and you had a great experience asking and learning?
So I mostly feel that with, learning languages has become a passion of mine. However, it's also become like a sort of pressure whenever I tell people, because I've been learning and studying Japanese for, I want to say, 3 years now. Yeah, it's been 3 years, and I want to start. Well, I have started studying French, and I just find that language like really interesting. But the thing is like whenever I tell people, "Oh yeah, I've been studying Japanese for like 3 years, and I want to start learning French," like they give me something in Japanese and be like, "Oh, like what does this say?" And like, "What does that say?" And I'm like, well, of course there's going to be some words that I don't know, because Japanese is such a broad, spectrum of language. And I don't know every single word in Japanese out there, of course, but um, I try my best, and just learn because I just like learning the language. Like I'm getting into French and stuff like that, because it's really is all about seeing what I don't know, because I know that in my lifetime, in any human's lifetime, we won't be able to know every, because the universe is really vast, and we can't know everything, of course, but it's still that that moment of joy and admiration when you just find out something that you find really interesting. Like for example, I've played a few instruments, and the instrument that I really love is bassoon. And I just get that moment of joy whenever I like play a song that first I found difficult, but then when I finally like conquer that piece of music, it's like so beautiful.
It's so gratifying, right? To
Yeah.
know that what once was a difficulty or a challenge, then we become more prolific as we put an effort and practice it. What can you tell the youth out there as a motivation to try new things?
Whatever you plan to do with your life, take a form of responsibility along with it. Because, there's distractions and all of that. But to be able to recline yourself from those distractions requires self-restraint, sense of responsibility, getting yourself sucked into just like mindless scrolling, which is, not good for you, and like can worsen your depression and like worsen your anxiety. And like, if you're afraid to just like send that one person a text, just like don't overthink it and do it. Like, like not obsessively or anything like that, but just just a simple, oh, hey, like, how have you been doing lately? Like, how's your summer? Or, hey, you remember that one time that we did this and that? Or, just catching up with people, because, or just, give a person a call.
With the world of confusion, darkness, sometimes even hopelessness, and then also you mentioned two words like anxiety or depression.
Yeah.
What role has faith played in your life to stay afloat, to have some light and hope in this world?
Well, I think the answer is in the word itself, is, well, faith. Having faith in something is having a belief in that thing. And because you have a belief, it makes it stronger, and therefore
Mhm.
it empowers you as well. I'd say a mixture of faith in the gospel and family and friends is what really keeps me going, especially my mom, because she's the role model in my life. Whenever I'm down or I don't feel like getting out of bed, usually the dog will like come up into my room and like like nudge me and like try and like get me out of bed or something like that. So really having faith in just the people around you and being able to be vulnerable about how you feel with the people that you trust, and putting trust in people that that will have your back.
Your dog,
like your
mom,
dog.
I'm sure your grandma, people
Mhm.
that do care about you and want the best from you and the best for you. That is so true. And you said believing, faith is having that belief in that thing. And what is that thing? Faith. What is that thing? Is it God? Is it universe? What is that thing for you?
Simply the feeling of being able to touch things, smell things, see things, simply just existing, really.
Mary learns languages. She plays several instruments. How about you? What are you going to learn today? That's the invitation out there. Learn something new, whether that's a new word, a new skill, a new instrument, a new song, a new poem, a new verse from the scriptures. Try something new today that's uplifting and that's going to bring you a sense of purpose and more faith in life and in the world. Thank you for listening to this transformative episode of the Wisdom in Thy Youth show. May the wisdom shared today resonate deeply within you. We invite you to stay connected with us by subscribing to the show, ensuring that you never miss a moment of inspiration and growth. Share this podcast with your loved ones, extending the ripple of wisdom to empower the youth in their pursuit of their true destinies. Together, let us continue to fuel this movement. Remember, the power of wisdom lies within you. Embrace it, live it, thrive with it. And until we meet again, stay inspired, stay curious, and may the wisdom of the ages and the Holy Scriptures guide your path.